think before I came home my sophomore year, I spent a week or a weekend with
Okay,
them.
Nice. Oh,
There you go.
There's a great picture. Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, yeah.
Aunt Louise and, oh, Kylo.
K-I-L-O-H.
Yeah, I love that dog.
Yeah.
Mrs. Cottingham and mother. Who's that?
Well, Fran Cottingham was my roommate at Wellesley.
Oh, okay, so
This
that's
is her mother. So that was
okay.
taken here in Kansas City.
Okay.
Have you seen this photo before?
No, Jeffrey, we got a good one for you.
It's a lovely photo.
Okay. I'm coming.
Oh, that's a good idea. No, don't lose the place though.
No, I won't.
And this one, if it's not too dark, if it's too dark, don't worry about it. Okay, we better stop here or we'll forget where we put it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I'm really gonna stop after this album.
No problem.
Ooh, what a beautiful picture. Green Hall, it says.
Yeah, this
Is
one.
that at Wellesley?
Yeah.
That's a nice picture. I wonder if it was a professional one that you bought. Do you think you took that?
I don't think I did.
It's got a little frame.
No, I don't think I did.
Geology trip to Vermont.
A little hard to see anything there
Yeah.
of interest. From my window.
Hazing Day.
Yeah, that was in the early fall, and the freshman class, I don't know, they had to do crazy things on hazing day, whatever it was.
Not as bad as it used to be, I don't think. I mean, not as bad as it is now.
Well, true.
Some crazy
yeah,
stuff they do.
yeah. This is out my window of my the dorm I lived in my sophomore year, obviously.
Fran and the Munger gals.
Yeah.
Was that the name of your dorm?
No, that was a dorm, but it was not one I lived in.
Oh, okay.
But they did have a lot of the class leaders living in Munger. We had two dorms that you did so many hours of work, and basically the students took care of the dorm, and for which you got reduced tuition.
Oh, I see.
So it was a kind of a scholarship way, a way of doing that. Our junior officers, my word, we're at junior year already, think of that. Sophomore officers.
Everybody with their lovely corsages.
Now, this was the class year behind us, those girls.
Bets
These
and
were in my
Marge.
class.
Bets and Marge.
Yeah, they were in the class behind me. Sophomores.
So you graduated in 39.
Right.
And Dad graduated from MIT in 40.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alice and George were a couple in high school and eventually married. George was at MIT when I was at Wellesley, and I was basically his date all the way through those 4 years because Alice wasn't around and I was a good friend.
Alice trusted you.
Alice trusted me, yeah.
Arlene and Ray.
They did not get married, but Bob and Betty Langworthy got married and are still married. And she's in my book club group.
Oh, wonderful. Wow.
Yeah, that's a couple that goes way back.
June
And
and
this couple,
Johnny.
June and Johnny, live out in, where do they live? Out in the middle of Kansas somewhere. And they're still together.
So this is a page of couples.
Yeah, yeah,
There's George and Alice.
yeah,
Hand holders.
yeah. They're both dead. They're both dead. June and John are still living out in the middle of Kansas, and Betty and Bob Langworthy are here in town, and Betty is in my book club group. Bob's a lawyer, still practicing.
Wow.
That's the thing about law. You can practice it forever.
That's
Oh,
true.
That's fantastic.
Betty and Bob, as I say, they're still married.
Here's Corky.
Yeah, actually, what was her name? It was not Porgy. Oh, geez, isn't that awful that I don't have the actual name?
I know, it's only 60 years ago.
Yeah,
What's
right.
the matter with you, Ginny?
Now, I don't know, do these look like they were taken at, yeah, they were taken probably at Christmas, there are no leaves on the tree. So that was when I was home for Christmas vacation.
What house is that you're in front of? It's a brick?
Not ours. It
No.
belonged to, whose house was that? That was the Krebs house. Yeah, that was George Krebs' house. And as I say, where was George? George was at MIT. I was at Wellesley.
Oop, little teeny guys.
Yeah, but I didn't pick any of these to be. I may have enlargements.
Oh, I see, contact sheet.
I may have enlargements of these. I mean, we've seen the enlarged that one already. There's not much
This
to
is a
see.
play.
Well, there was every 4 years of that. You know, originally it was always me. For the boy, yeah, for everyone. You got just one in the 4 years you were there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's still the faculty play, obviously.
New Hampshire.
And we're in New Hampshire. We went up to New every year between the semesters. Had a great time.
Our chemist.
Virgie got a PhD in chemistry,
Oh,
and
PhD. That's impressive.
she got it at MIT.
Wow, that's
After
even
Wellesley,
more
yeah,
impressive. What's her
yeah.
last name?
Virginia Cox Barber.
Oh, that's why her name's familiar. Because I worked at the MIT Alumni Association.
Oh, okay. Now my question in my head is Virgie still living? I'd have to look in my Christmas card box, of, you know,
Mhm.
3x5 cards and
Right.
so forth, to see if it's still there,
Mhm.
because my mind does not tell me if Virgie's still living.
I could look on the MIT directory too.
Which of my Wellesley friends are still living? After all, we've been out how many years?
A while.
39 to and 50 would be 89. And so forth.
63.
So 62 years. What? How long have we been out?
63.
Hmm?
63.
63. Okay, that was close.
Yeah.
The library, and that looks like a lab problem in chemistry, no doubt. That's the library. That's a classmate. She was a year younger, but lived in the same dorm.
That's okay.
Yeah. Then her boyfriend who was around when she married. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Okay. Now this is typical of my roommate freshman year. That's Marie. Marie never went to class and never studied. And she was so smart that she was actually on academic probation at the end of the first semester. I mean, she had probably a couple of D's. And she got off academic probation at the end of the first semester of senior year and graduated with the class.
Oh my God. I'm kind of surprised they didn't kick her out. They were pretty strict about that sort of thing.
Well, she just, you know, she passed enough courses
To just hang on.
to hang on.
So she had a good time.
Yeah, she did. She didn't, you see, she didn't want to be at Wellesley. She'd gone all the way through Catholic school. She was very Catholic. And a lot of her friends were to a particular Catholic school whose name I couldn't possibly remember. And her father thought she should have a broader education. And he sent her to Wellesley. And she was not happy to be there at all.
Oh, that's too bad.
But she almost never, freshman year, almost never. And then, of course, she was on academic probation. She had to go to class. She had to sign in every day.
Oh my God.
And she didn't get off academic probation until the end of the first semester senior year.
That must have been quite a day.
And she majored in political science, and she got a law degree. She was an extremely successful lawyer in the Boston
Isn't
area.
that something?
Yeah, yeah.
Was I supposed to take a picture of one of these? Is it while they're open?
No, this is, that, wait.
Oh, that picture goes in there. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the one with grandmother and the dog. This
Oh,
one.
right here,
Did you get
okay.
this one?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, yeah, that goes here.
That's a good picture.
It's a great picture.
Yeah. Terrific. Well, this is just coming up the back way to the
Mhm,
dorm that I
Leslie.
lived in, yeah.
Do you remember where that picture went?
I was handed it. So,
What is it?
This one.
Well, it's your dad and his mother.
I know, but I
Oh.
don't know where we got it from. I think it was in there. I don't know, do you care?
I doubt it. I can look for it. I can look for it while you're.
Okay. I don't think it was labeled, so if you just,
Just empty
Is
space
it-
somewhere.
was it labeled?
not like this.
Well, no, I sent you one.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Well, I would think it might be in this same book, wouldn't you? I mean, it looked like she's got,
Well, yeah, well.
Maybe or this
no.
one was before that one. I'll look through this one.
All right, see if you can find this. I don't remember taking it out of, the things.
well, it would have been just loose, I don't think. I think it would have been tucked in things and labeled.
Okay,
I'll
well, we'll
find
look
it.
for it.
Okay, nothing particularly exciting here. That's my roommate. Lots of little pictures that have faded, obviously. Now, where are we?
New York, it says, oh, New York disappears, so you're off somewhere. It says
Well-
Hamilton Harbor. The Bermudian, you took a boat to Bermuda.
Well, I spent spring vacation of junior year in Bermuda.
Okay,
Yeah. Spring vacation of junior year in Bermuda.
nice. I've
That
never
was
been
nice.
there, but-
That was great. That's where we stayed.
Beautiful. Oh, that's a very artistic shot.
How about that? Portal shot.
Street scene.
Street scene in Bermuda. I'm sure there must have been a name of the city or town we stayed in. Coming into port.
New York.
Yeah, coming back, I guess, to New York. Whatever. It's too little to see what they are. More of those itsy bitsies. What's that say?
That says Mort.
Yeah, that would be Jack's friend more. He had a last name, but I can't tell you what it was.
Boy, I should know too, but it's not coming to me.
Yeah.
Elmer, you know, that sounds familiar too. Do you think that could have been one of Dad's friends?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I've always got the letters.
Did you see this one, Jack and Virginia at Madison? Did you want that?
Here's one of Jack and me and Mort
Sure.
here.
Oh, yeah, that's
Mort.
a
And
nice
this
one.
is Jack and Uncle John and me and Mort, and Uncle John and me.
Yeah, see, now this is more how I remember him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 3 here. Okay, we'll go back to this one.
Okay. Makes sense. Well, I'm not doing very good, John. Yeah, that's just one.
Canal boat, it says.
Packing from home. Where had we been where there was a canal? What was the preceding page?
Remember.
Doesn't have anything that suggests this page, does it? Any time.
Which ones?
These 3.
Okay.
Packing for home, okay.
That's a pretty picture. That's where you were?
Yeah, we were always up on top floor, at least the last couple of years. Seeing Sherry off. Oh, her folks came from Sheridan, Wyoming, which is where she got the name Sherry. Her name was Dorothy, which she didn't like, and she didn't like Dot or Dottie. So she became Sherry.
Yeah.
And it stuck with her, so helped me all the rest of her life. And we went out to, Fran and I, who was from Kansas City, went out to visit, I think at the end of sophomore year.
How'd you like Wyoming?
Well, I loved it. I loved it. Of course, we went to the park, and easy just packing up to go home at the end of the year. My dad. Oh, now there's a charming shot of me. He must have been down in the Ozarks. Summer
Cuts her hair.
vacation 37. So that was after sophomore year. Virgin always had long hair, but her mother let her cut it. In fact, I think her mother insisted on her cutting it, or she came west and spent the summer with us after sophomore year. Spent the whole summer in Kansas City. But she had 2 different houses to stay in, so that was okay.
Wyoming.
Obviously, that's my dad holding me, and don't tell me who.
Well, Wyoming, weren't you with your girlfriends in Wyoming?
Yeah, Sherry. Sherry was
Your
from
dad
Sheridan,
was-
Wyoming.
Your dad went too?
No, that couldn't have been. So,
Maybe
oh,
that's Sherry's parents.
we must have gone, because I know we went to Yellowstone Park.
Oh, okay.
So that must have
Different
been.
trip.
Yeah, different trip, right.
Parties in Sheridan.
Now, this was, she went to Wellesley for 2 years, and then she went back to University of Wyoming after that. But,
Char, Nancy, Fran, T-Landers, cabin.
that would have been out in Wyoming. Here we are, there's Elander's cabin.
How beautiful.
Stream behind them.
Mm-mm-mm.
That was their picnic out there.
The parents.
They're labeled.
cattle that you can't see.
You
can't
really
tell.
see. Yeah, I think there's some cattle back there.
Mother and Mrs. Stout. So you must have, with your parents, must
Yeah.
have gone and visited them.
We went obviously to Yellowstone Park and stopped in Sheridan and visited my friend
Verge
Sherry's
and Dad.
family. Uh-huh.
Eaton's Ranch.
And we had now Verge must have come first to Kansas City and then have driven with us to Wyoming. Because she lived in Massachusetts and spent summers in New Hampshire where they had a lovely farm and house. Yeah.
I think you can probably stop for a while. Oh, that looks like so much fun.
Custer's Last Stand.
Oh, wow. So there are people buried there.
Yeah. Custer's Last Stand. I took my kids there eventually.
It's an amazing story.
Custer's Last Stand. On route to Yellowstone. Oh, these faded, haven't they?
They're still neat, though. I love how they put a little frame around them.
Yeah. Tower of
Bears.
Bears.
Ditto.
Bears, yeah.
Now, there are bunches of pictures stuck in here that don't have any home.
Yeah, there are.
But that picture of your grandmother and your dad probably did come from there, right?
I don't know. I don't remember. I think the only one I remember pulling out is that one with grandmother and the dog.
Okay.
There's the geyser.
It was very regular in its eruptions.
That's what they
You
say.
could set your clock up. Jackson Lake, that was a big lake. The Tetons. Now the Tetons were the spectacular mountains.
Yep.
This is,
That's a good
this was a
picture.
chapel. I mean, it used to be sharper, but you'd go in there and here were these fantastic
Wow,
Tetons.
that's a beautiful picture.
They were spectacular, and they are spectacular mountains, and they're south of Yellowstone Park.
Wow, someday I have to get up to the parks.
And there's another
Yeah, I always
shot
wanted to
of
take
the
you up to
window.
Yosemite.
Yep. Freak Canyon.
Freak? F-R-E-A-K Canyon? Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Or is it a W? Either one, it's crazy.
No, it's an A.
Yeah.
Jenny Lake and Tetons. Wow.
Yeah, those are really spectacular mountains out there. Piece of Feta, that used to be much sharper, of course.
Peter Scott.
Peter Scott, now is he a friend of Jack's?
Doesn't ring a bell
Who
with
the
me,
heck's
but
Peter Scott? If you go through my letters, I could probably tell you. That's
that's
kinda hard
pretty
to see.
fitted, yeah.
Yeah, it sure is, that's it.
Okay, I think we did all of them. All of these guys, right? Yeah. Are these? No. No, I don't think we did this one yet. Oh wait, yeah, this is the one where you labeled everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've done that.
Maybe we stopped halfway. That's pretty.
Does it have a date or anything to suggest?
Nope.
Does it just say Virginia?
Yep. You thought you'd always remember the date.
Of course.
Yeah. Age 13. Look at this picture of Ginny, honey.
It's in
Oh, I remember, I was looking at the first communion pictures. I
Yeah.
remember.
That's nice.
Look at that beautiful dress.
Well, it was obviously a costume for something. It was just a dress.
Oh.
I'm sure it wasn't a dress that I wore.
You wouldn't be caught dead in it?
Not
Oh
actually.
yeah, I remember the picture of. Okay, we didn't find a home for this.
No, there were other pictures that were
Did you
loose
check that one?
Well, I didn't check it page by page, but I checked it a bit.
So we're just gonna have to pick a book to stick it in.
Okay.
Let's see if we can find anything similar in terms of timing.
Yeah.
Tiny little pictures.
Contact prints, as they were called.
Okay, these are mostly Wellesley type pictures, so it won't be in here. Alright, let's,
Except it probably was taken when I was at Wellesley.
yeah,
I mean, it looks like the right age for that.
yeah, well, Dad's still knickers, but
In that picture over there?
in this one,
Yeah.
yeah. Unless those
Well,
are
but
golf
those would be more
pants.
like golf knickers. I mean, it
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
well, he wasn't a kid wearing knickers.
Okay.
That's a,
So you think he's in his 20s,
oh,
maybe?
definitely.
Or
Yeah.
older?
He's probably going to or coming from ball.
Wow. What did say?
Well, that would be in one of the later of these albums, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so too. See, there's a bunch of loose ones here, but,
Well, I don't think that was loose, was it? Do you remember?
well, I think it might have been, but I'm not sure.
Now, here's one of Aunt Louise and the dog.
Well, if we think it's about the same time, we can put
Okay,
it in
here's,
there.
here's a place right here.
All right.
Come on, Calkins.
Why don't you see if it'll fit before you go to all that trouble? No, it won't.
No, it
Too
won't.
tall. I don't think it, I really don't think it had a, here's a picture in Madison.
Yeah, Grandma Carter. It's a good place to actually live, make your living and live here.
So I have to tell Nora, or you can tell Nora your economics degree story.
Yeah, I went off to Wellesley. Kansas City's always had a very active Wellesley club, and they would recruit high school seniors and so forth, and I thought might be interested in going there. So I had friends in the class ahead of me, and 2 classes ahead of me that had gone to high school, and they that I knew well. So off I went to Wellesley, and well, I went in 1935, graduated in 39, high school 35, college 39, and I ended up. I started out majoring in chemistry, and I'm forgetting what turned me off on that.
You said you didn't want to work in the lab.
Okay, that's a
Like chemistry. And then the chemistry was great.
And I've been taking a course each year in economics along the way, but I ended up my senior year in order to major having to take practically nothing but economics. But anyway, I got back to Kansas City and I went to every bank and every investment firm in Kansas City applying for a job. And they only asked me one question.
Can you guess? Can you type?
Type and right. So I went to a business school, you know, for 6 months or whatever, and learned to type and take shorthand. So
Horrible.
yeah, it really was. It's fortunately it's not that way anymore for women.
Yeah.
But that's the way it was when I got out of college.
Both of Bill's parents were economists.
You studied economics?
Yeah, that was my major. But you know, my dad said when I was not having it, he said, well, you know, maybe someday you'll have some money of your own to manage and you know how to do it. And I've done really well.
Yeah.
It did serve you some purpose.
Yeah, sure as heck did.
Well, I always thought that, you know, I never really knew what economics was, and I probably still don't. But I always thought that my parents were, you know, they were really careful about what they did with their money. You know, they're very, probably too careful, yeah. You know, like my dad would never buy stock.
Neither would my husband.
Yeah.
When he died, I had $55,000 worth of life insurance that I very quickly turned into $464,000 in stocks and bonds. No, I mean, I had a house that was paid for,
Yeah.
and a car, and $55,000 worth of life insurance.
Wow.
Two doctors' sons.
Yeah. And my daughter has a master's degree in education and a master's degree in library science. And what is she doing now? I think nothing relates to either one.
Oh, really?
I don't think she ever, she learned how to type. I mean, God, you can't go through college anymore without knowing how to type.
Right. It's pretty slow if you don't.
I think probably I took return papers in longhand.
Yeah. Yeah, I did too. Well, no, I must type. I made money by typing other newspapers. I was fast. Though I was sorry because I always felt learning how to type. Actually, my advice to women now is don't learn how to type. Because you automatically get... Well, now you have to eventually, but don't admit you know how to type when you're interviewing.
You can't live without your computer these days.
People don't, I don't think people can ask anymore because they assume that everybody has keyboarding.
That's true. That's how
For the last several reunions of my classic welding, I think when I started this with the 50th and did it for the 55th and 60th, and I guess the next one coming up is the 65th, should I make it. But anyway, I did a countdown to reunion, and I sent out a letter. I mean, I created just a one-page letter that had probably 5 questions for them to answer.
Thank you for waiting. How are you today? I got Miss Manning. How are you, sir? Oops. Pardon me, sir. Right here. Thank you. And go turkey now.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
For lady, gentlemen, enjoy. Thank you.
Sorry you didn't have this. But they all did.
So you did a countdown for your reunion?
Yes, so-called countdown. I sent out, I created just a one-page letter, I think, with questions. What
And we have the extra
how are you now?
Enjoy.
That kind of thing. And the college would copy it and send it out to everyone in the class. And about half of them sent them back to me.
That's great.
Yeah, and probably I overstated, maybe a third of them sent back, but enough to create about a 3-page letter. If they'd get 5, I get a 6. I was 18 strokes worse than they were. But I didn't, when I say they, the other person we played with was Larry Calkins, who's the son of my husband. I mean, Larry and I were good friends, and then I went to, and I worked out at the med school, that's where I met his father, and we ended up being married. Yeah, we had lots of good times on that golf course across the street.
So how old were you when you got married?
I think probably 29.
Was that considered old?
Yeah.
And you and Dad went dancing? You and Dad went dancing?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. God, I love to dance with him.
And you said that was the best dance.
I stepped on his feet when I danced with him.
Well,
It didn't translate to his children, I don't think.
it was so interesting because it was a completely different, I mean, Eastern dancing was completely different from our dancing here. I mean, they did a lot of breaking, you know, they break apart and walk and dip and then come back together, and it was really very different, very different. I mean, this one time we went to this nightclub east of town. In the summer they had a platform outdoors and for dancing, so we were dancing. Pretty soon everybody drifted away, and we were the only ones on the floor, and when music ended, they all applauded.
Oh. That's fun.
That was fun.
Tape of that. I think when Dad and Claire got married, that was one of the things they played was dancing.
It went out every weekend.
Oh, I can understand why.
Every Saturday or something. So did you play ping pong?
Yeah, but I wasn't very good at it.
Uh-huh.
Ever. I was never any good at tennis. Golf was my game.
Do you know that Ginny gets Sports Illustrated?
I'm so impressed.
I mean, I could see picking it up once in a while.
I'm the world's biggest sports fan.
Do you watch it in the World Series?
Yeah,
Now it's a California game, so maybe it's not that interesting.
but of course we have a baseball team in Kansas City, a major league team, and we used to have season tickets to it. Don't anymore, but golf is my favorite sport to watch, and then basketball next. Of course, University basketball was originated at KU, Naismith, N-A-I-S-M-I-T-H. And there's Naismith Hall at KU and so on. So anyway,
They invented basketball.
KU has always been really quite successful in basketball. So watch a lot of that in the winter.
So you think the Giants are going to win?
Well, who knows? I think it was a close series, actually.
They killed them last night, didn't they, Josh?
Oh, really?
I didn't watch the end, but they were ahead 8-4 when I stopped watching. Yeah. But they seem to have an edge.
What is this? I don't know who's playing. It's the Giants and who else?
Anaheim Angels.
I was still thinking Oakland Angels, but I guess not. They moved. Oh, it's the Oakland A's.
Oakland A's.
Oh, Oakland Athletics. Oh, okay.
This is the first time the Angels have been in the playoff since they
When
their
George,
existence 42 years ago or something.
when George Brett was playing baseball with our Royals. He went to a lot of games. He was interesting to watch.
Why is that?
Well, he was so very good. I mean, he was the batting champ, I think, year after year after year.
What position did he play in the field?
Can't tell you, he was in the outfield, so he wasn't in the infield. He lived just a couple blocks
Oh, really?
in a nice bed.
There are some very nice big houses near you, Ginny.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really should take a trip down Ward Parkway.
Yep.
Ward Parkway.
Yeah, the one we took at first fork.
Is that one of the roads we go in to get to
Go
the
straight
homes today? Do we go on Ward Parkway to get to
what?
your childhood home?
Yeah, definitely.
They do. Can I get you something? Yeah. No? Dad just showed up, right, at your dorm?
Yeah, that was funny. I lived in this wooden dorm. There were most freshmen at Wellesley then lived on campus, wooden houses. And there were two pretty good sized wooden houses on campus, which I lived in one of them. Because otherwise you would have to buy a bicycle and bike to class. But anyway, I was standing at the front door because we didn't have a dining room in this little wooden thing. We ate across the street in a nice brick dormitory that I eventually moved into. And I was standing at the door ready to go across the street, and his man shows up there. So then he looks at me, and I look at him, and he says, "Are you Ginny?" And I said, "Are you Jack?" And we went out for dinner and dancing.
Started right away.
Right away.
Oh, so that was when he was at MIT then? Yeah, okay.
He said you used to double date some.
Yeah.
You know, Dad fixed her up with Mort from the Westminster Club. Do you remember his last name?
Oh gosh. Well, I could pull out one of my 4 notebooks. Loose leaf. My dad had me write letters home on loose leaf notepaper, and I have 4 loose leaf notebooks
Oh,
about
really?
you.
Oh, so I kept them in a notebook when you sent them?
Yeah, they totally document my 4 years at Wellesley. I'll eventually give them to Wellesley.
Oh, that's a great idea.
But, so we could find out.
Don't say that. She'll make you do that, you know.
So I'm trying to
warning.
think of Mort's last name.
Yeah. There's a great picture of Dad and Mort jumping over a fence.
Yeah,
Jeff took a picture of it.
in their backyard in Brooklyn. Yeah.
Whose backyard?
In Dad's backyard.
Oh, okay.
And Ginny actually has pictures of Grandfather Tiger when he was young. Not little young, but you know, a mature man. But
30s maybe?
Yeah.
Before I got old.
I was telling Nora that you had said that you thought they had gone off to New York to be on the stage.
Yeah, what was grandfather interested in doing on the stage?
Being the leading man.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. They were theater struck. I mean, this was the thing they wanted to do more than anything else in the world.
Had he ever done acting or anything?
I don't know, maybe through high school, probably, you know. But and like music too. I mean, I'm probably was in maybe a quartet or a school choir or whatever. But anyway, the word was there's only one way you can go to New York. You're certainly not going there as 2 separate people. You're going to have to get married. And so it was a marriage of convenience, not a marriage of love.
How come Dad didn't know that? How come my dad didn't know that?
Why would they tell him?
Sort of the story of how they, I don't know, I guess you wouldn't tell him that.
I told Ginny I thought it was sad
A lot
that
of things
Dad
they didn't tell
know
him.
that Ducky was his dad. I think that's
At the
sad.
time?
Yeah, after he was dead.
When did he realize it?
I think they were
70, he said in the 70s.
Both his parents were deceased, and he heard his voice, his own voice on tape, and thought it sounded just like Ari. And then he put 2 and 2 together.
Of course, the older your dad got, the more he looked like Ducky.
Oh, really?
And he was a spitting image of Ducky. The last time I saw him, which was about 4 years ago, I went down to Florida to visit my 2 favorite cousins. I only have one cousin on my mother's side of the family. He's still living in the St. Petersburg area. And so they were both in the same general area. And so I really had a great visit with him then.
Yeah, I have that one picture of him and Ducky that I think grandmother took of them sitting on a bench. And they do look, I mean, there's definitely a resemblance.
Well, their interests were so, so common and so different from Uncle John's interests, which were all business. Yeah.
I told her that you said that Uncle John worked all the time.
Yeah, he did. And I doubt if he and Aunt Louise ever slept together. So help me. They always had separate bedrooms. So,
But Mary said you don't think that he was gay.
no, I don't think so.
Just lonely. Just a workaholic, a lonely workaholic.
I'm afraid so.
You don't. It seems sad if he didn't have any relationship on the side.
While he's off working, Dad has trains on all over the third
The
floor.
third floor was all, I never will forget the first time I went there and saw that third floor.
Was it Dad's domain?
Oh, yeah.
That's why Grandpa had to work so hard.
Get a little Lionel. John.
I guess he did. I'm sure he liked anything. Dad liked anything that moved and ran by electricity. And, that's scientific curiosity.
My mom said that I guess Uncle John, as you know, was really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my mom
Absolutely.
adored him.
Yeah.
I told Jenny that I didn't recall him saying a single word ever.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
no.
Yeah, that's true. He was very quiet. Now, my dad was much more loquacious. Yeah. Did you ever know Paul, that brother?
I'm sure I met him, but
They
I
lived in
don't
New Jersey. He
remember.
worked for Colgate. He was a top officer in Colgate, Palmolive Pete.
Okay.
The Pete part began in Kansas City, and they were transferred eventually to New York because he was boosted up in the company
Oh, okay.
and was a top officer in the company.
So he must have visited from time to time. Right?
From where did
Paul
he?
must have visited John.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, one was in Brooklyn and the other was in New Jersey, and that can be as far apart as St. Louis and Kansas City, almost.
Yeah.
But anytime I went east, I always spent some time with each of them. Yeah. So, because now John went east and then stayed east, but Paul didn't go east until he was transferred there. I mean, a large part of his life and his married life and everything else was here in Kansas City. So he was an older man, so to speak, when he went to the East Coast. And,
Kept his ties here.
Yeah.
So was John in different types of businesses besides? I remember him being in groceries, but was he in?
Always, as far as I know, he was a kind of purchasing agent or something for the chain of grocery stores.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's odd to me that when all times Aunt Louise and Dad came back for a visit, he didn't come back to see the family.
He was busy working.
I know.
And that was his life. Yeah. That was his life.
Interesting. Maybe he got a lot of satisfaction out of working.
Yeah. But Louise and your dad would come back every summer for a while, and as I said, they stayed out in the country, probably in town now almost, where they stayed with the Dirks family, which is a contact of hers. They were quite wealthy, lumber.
There must have been some her family left in the area.
I swear, I don't. Did she have any sisters or brothers that you were aware of? Not that I'm aware.
I don't know.
Not that I'm aware of, because she certainly didn't stay with any of her relatives.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dirks were, I think, just friends.
I wonder where her parents lived, and I wonder how when they died. We do have pictures of her mom visiting in Madison.
Really?
Unless it was your grandmother who was visiting. Remember, we saw pictures. Might have been her.
Yeah. She was a remarkable woman. She raised 8 kids, Grandmother Kiger. Yeah. I have letters that my dad found out about and got from the Jackson County got a copy, a set of them from the Jackson County Historical Society, and I have promised 2 cousins, and I haven't done anything about it yet, to make copies of them. They're the S-C-H-O-L-L, Shaw. That was my grandma's maiden name. My dad's mother's maiden name was Shaw. And they moved from Virginia about 1824 when they arrived from Germany, probably. And worked their way to Kentucky and worked their way to Missouri. And these letters begin in Virginia, and some of them are from Kentucky and some of them are from, I have promised several cousins to make copies of them, take them Kinko's and have them photocopied and haven't done it. But they are extremely interesting. I mean, it's the early history of settling of Missouri. And,
Do you know where these letters are?
no, I bought them, just stored in my bedroom.
Go get him, Mary.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
The Kinko's right near our hotel.
you're welcome. And they are extremely interesting. I mean, anybody would be who is interested in history would be interested in them because they really talk about the settling, certainly of the state of Missouri. But as I say, they begin in Virginia to Kentucky to Missouri.
Yeah. No, remember, what was letters that Betsy found? Dad had one really old letter that was from the Kiger family in his files. Remember? She kept it. Yeah, no, there was one. I wonder if it was sort of part of that same series. I can't remember the details of it, but she has that from. It was just like in an old folder in one of Dad's files.
Remember, we have a couple old letters from on Mom's side.
No, this is the Kiger side.
Now, you don't know anything about the Hummisons, do you, Ginny? Doherty
No, I
family?
don't. I don't know a thing about Dr.
Did you know Doherty? You must have.
Quite well.
What's he like? Mean?
No. Extremely interesting person. Oh, really an interesting person. And he had diverse interests of his own. I mean, not just music, but so many other things. Yeah. When now my husband was 22 or 3 years older than I, and when we were on our honeymoon, we went up to Minnesota and across Canada, and we came down into New England, and we came to Madison and stayed in a hotel there, I guess, someplace. Anyway, Aunt Louise was talking to me, and she was saying, "It's nice being an older man's darling," which I've always remembered.
That's a gem.
So Doherty was a lot older.
He was older.
He was more or less a generation older, just like my husband was a generation older.
Interesting. Love that. Restroom.
You guys remember Doherty, right?
I don't really. That's what John do.
I don't know. I remember stories of him. I have a chair he made, I guess for me.
I remember
Something.
them being,
It's a little tiny chair, yeah.
I remember him being sick. This old person was sick in bed in Madison. That's all I remember.
You talking about his West illness?
I don't know. That's my one memory.
That's how I remember Grandfather Krager. Uncle John was him being sick in the house in Andover. I don't have any memory of him other than that.
Yeah. That's my main memory.
When did he die?
1960.
Well, that would make sense then. I was 6. Yeah. So I wouldn't really remember much.
That's when Roy Calkins died. Oh, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids were young. I think they were 11.
8, 11, 12, I think is
that what I
8,
said?
10, and 11 or something.
Yeah, the two older ones are just
11 months apart.
Yeah.
You can believe that. Shame on you, Ginny.
well, Kathy was born, actually she was born 2 months early. So, yeah, I had my children like which was lucky.
Yeah.
Because when I talked my husband into bringing home an examining glove, you know, and I missed a period, to examine it. So he gets a strange expression on his face, and I said, well, am I pregnant? He said, well, you might be, but there's this large mass over here on the right.
Ah.
So I went to his partner, and sure enough, there was a large mass over on the right. And so he said, I'm going to take an x-ray of the abdomen. And Roy Calkins says, won't do a thing. A flat-plated abdomen won't show a thing. But it showed 2 incisors, 2 bicuspids, and 2 not clearly definable teeth.
Believe it.
I had what was called a dermoid tumor of the ovary. It has bits of bone and teeth, and it's a baby that never developed or something. But anyway, that was it.
Wow.
So when I was 3 months pregnant, and the uterus moved from the pelvis into the abdomen where they could get at it, why they removed the tumor.
She still had her whole pregnancy.
Wow.
And then when John was 2 years old, my third child, they were born, as I say, 10 months and 10 days between the first two. Roy was out of town. He got a telegram in Cincinnati between trains that he had a son, which was just what he needed. He already had 2 older sons. But anyway, where was I? Talking about the John.
That when John was born.
Yeah. Then when John was 2 years old, on a routine yearly or whatever exam, why, lo and behold, there was this large mass over on the other side. So I had the second, but you know, in between I had three kids. I mean,
So Kathy's the only girl.
yeah,
That
right.
long,
That
pretty
Roy
boy.
Calkins had. Yeah, Roy
Oh.
Calkins had the two older boys, and then
So I bet she was the little darling.
oh, you bet. Indeed, she was.
Hey, good news, sir. Where's the?
It's all the way over in the corner.
Is it one fur or multiple?
He doesn't know about the ladies.
I know, but what was
I
yours?
didn't go in the ladies'
What
room.
was yours?
I think you're probably okay going maybe both.
Yeah, we're gonna try to find them after John leaves for the airport.
What happened?
Out there being where?
Out there, kind of anywhere.
Well, actually, there's some that spell their name Kiger that live south of here. They came up. Oh, a cousin of mine. Now her husband was related to me. And, she was there's no direct relationship. I made so many trips back east. My dad, gosh, we went every year for a good many years, and visited various cousins. And anyway, after her husband died, she has some cousins that lived out here south of town, about 50 miles or so, and she came out to visit them. They came by the house, and she's the last Virginia.
Now you said there's still a bunch in Virginia, though, right?
Yes, there certainly are.
Well, I remember when we were driving once down to either Georgia or South Carolina, we were in Richmond. My dad had me look at the phone book for Kigers. We found a Kiger.
Charleston, there was one.
How was it spelled? K-I or K-Y?
It was KY.
Was it?
And Dad made me call. I was like 10. Poor person probably thought it was a prank phone call.
I had to call Charleston.
You had to call Charleston, and
I'm surprised your father was that interested.
well,
He just wanted to torture Nora.
he just wanted to
I was
torture me.
thinking.
Since they weren't a sailboat. You
But
know.
the woman who answered it was her husband, and I guess she had died, and she said he didn't talk about his relatives much, so that was kind of a cold lead.
Yeah, it would be.
We tried it though, so that was Richmond. So Charleston, North Carolina?
I thought it was
Charleston,
Charleston. No, North Carolina. It was South Carolina. Charleston,
South
South Carolina.
That school that John went to.
Pembroke Hill?
Yeah. It used to be just Pembroke Country Day. It was a boys' school, and then I taught, about 10 blocks south of there at Sunset Hill, which is a girls' school. Now they're combined, and the elementary years are what was Sunset Hill, and the high school years are here where John went.
Now, what did you teach?
Oh boy, I taught, the first year I taught ancient and medieval history, modern European and American, which meant I had 3 preparations every night. I had never studied ancient
Right,
and
that's
medieval.
you.
I had
That
had
tied into economics.
I had a required, yeah, I was in economics. I had a required course at Wellesley in biblical history. That was all I'd had at that period of time. Honestly, every night, I can't tell you how late I stayed up studying every night that first year. I did know something. I'd had one very good full-year course in modern European in college. I had none in high school. The only history I had in high school was a year of civics, freshman year, which is a wasted year of anything.
Right.
And a very good American history class that I went all the way through college on. A fabulous teacher. And but I'd not had ancient history. I'd not had modern European history. I was up every night, practically all night long, that whole first year.
So did they ever figure you out?
No,
They
they
ever
thought
catch you?
They thought I was pretty darn good.
That's good.
That's talent.
It's quite an accomplishment.
Made what you did.
Right, exactly.
Up there is a club with tennis courts or a swimming pool.
Okay.
I don't think I ever saw one.
Oh, really?
There's a lot of K dishes. I think maybe Grandmother Kiger, Aunt Louise, I think maybe had some.
Somewhat.
The monograms.
No, I didn't have any, never had any on it.
Okay.
Nora thinks it's dorky, but I
Well,
like
Bill is the one who really thinks it's dorky. That's
I
why.
love them. Maybe those caves aren't for Kiger.
it. Maybe they're for cool.
Cool.
Yeah, Bill and his sister both made fun of my dishes
I love them.
with that K's on them.
Look at these trees, aren't they amazing?
Yeah, the maples.
Peru, God, look at this one.
These are cute little houses. Tiny little things.
No.
Huh?
Yes, he was crushing me.
Now we're going by the KU Med Center, is that the idea?
Yeah, I want to see
Yeah.
the plaque.
Oh, okay, so we'll have to park.
And the plaque is for.
It's John W. Kiger, who was the first professor of pediatrics.
Okay.
And he was your grandfather, our great grandfather.
correct.
And he was John W.
He
Kiger the
was
first.
John W. Kiger the first, right.
And then there's John W. Kiger the second, who was your Uncle John.
Well, there's a whole line of doctors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there's a
true.
lot of doctors.
That's true. Yes, because my dad's, well, Grandpa Kiger, I never knew, he died before I was born, who was the first professor of pediatrics over here, and he wrote a book. I guess my brother has the copy that used to be in the house. And I guess now my nephew, Ross Kiger, the third, has it. Anyway, on the quarantine of infants. Okay, let's go.
Didn't I ask you if you knew it was E. Ross and not just Ross? It's Edgar Ross.
Oh.
Now this is the Med Center on our right. So
Will they let us park?
Well, there'll be a place, but we don't want to park right here.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll get closer to where we want to be inside.
Okay.
This place is about 6 times larger than it was when my husband was here. Of course, John's here now. I couldn't find a way around in there now.
It looks like they're building a mammoth something there.
Jeez.
So were all these Kiger pediatric, what?
I keep telling him to turn it.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, John and his father were both OB/GYN.
Right,
And my brother was in
better
general
stuff on
internal
tape.
medicine.
right,
You
so
were with
you're,
Who else there? Well, Fred Kiger was in the upstairs.
Dr. Fred.
Apparently my grandfather, I think he died before I was born. Anyway, he said he would send to college anyone who would be a doctor, otherwise they were on their own.
Wow.
no pressure there.
Doesn't that sound like a Kiger
And so,
ultimatum?
you know, and there were 8 kids, and I don't know how many of them may have gotten any college education.
That's right, only Fred.
I think so, yeah.
Who
I don't
said,
know whether
okay, I'll
that's
be a
Paul
doctor.
probably got to college, but my dad didn't.
Fred, Paul, Edgar Ross, and John.
Yeah.
And Cora, Laura,
And Dora?
no.
There was a
Laura,
Nora.
Helen, and Stella.
Yes. Good for you.
And there was a Nora
I'm
who
going to go as
died.
slow as you reasonably can.
I wonder if I am named after a Nora
It's a
who
nice
died.
little
I
chapel
think you
there.
are.
This, we're coming up on what was the original building, one with the columns here. It was just you know, that width. When I went to work over here, my office was right there in the
Wow,
front of
that's
the first floor. And they just, of course, have added. People right in this corner. What else around here did you want to see?
We want to see the plaque.
There's some plaque.
Oh, we're going to have to find a place to park. My God.
I can just hop out
well,
and take a
turn
picture
right.
of it.
Right,
Show
maybe
it
we
to you.
could
See it. That you and I could hop out if
Yeah,
nobody
maybe
else
Mary
is
and
in.
Jeff, if it's difficult, maybe Mary and Jeff can just hop
Well,
and I'll look at the
somebody
picture
can
later.
stay in the car and but I don't know where we can even. I don't know this
But,
anymore.
no, that's a
at
bus
all.
stop. Probably can't
So
go in
you,
there.
we're not sure we could find the plaque?
Well, it's right in the front building, the original small building.
Where the columns?
The one we just went by?
Yeah. Now let's go around the block
Yeah, let's make
again.
another pass and to
I
see
bet
if
if
there's
there's like even...
someplace. So did Nora die immediately?
No, I don't think so. No, we'll go around to the front again, and we'll go 1 block west, more or less.
Only where all the ambulances go in.
I don't think so. Okay, we'll turn right here and then around all the way around the block. Go 1 block west where I think we can park.
Okay.
You can see why I don't go to the doctor.
It's too difficult.
But I tell you that when David came home for, when did he come home?
Christmas.
Christmas. Well, what month are we in now?
We're in October. It was last Christmas.
Oh, I've seen David recently. Oh, I know when it was. It was it was at Emily's wedding.
Oh.
David came to Emily's wedding with flu shot in his pocket. Give me a flu shot. He knew that I never get one of those.
Am I going to be going west
You're
when I
gonna go
make
right.
this
You're
corner?
gonna go right on this corner. Yes, you are.
So I'm sorry to keep asking questions about me, but so what about Nora? When did?
Well, you know, I
When
know
did she-
very little
how
about
much?
Nora because I think she died maybe at age 2 or 3.
Oh.
I mean, she died when the next baby was born, and the next baby was probably 2 or 3 years younger than she.
Are we
So-
parking there? Do we want to do that?
Do not enter.
Probably need
I
an
don't
employee
know.
permit.
I think seeing if we can pull up in
The
front.
place on the left?
Well,
Looks
it's like-
oh, it's staff.
That's 1,000 miles from where we're going.
Yeah,
Keep going.
I think pulling up and having Jeff and Mary run out. That's my vote
Okay.
for handling it.
I don't mind parking illegally if we can find something reasonable.
You don't, do you?
You don't.
No.
Bill's not
That's
a big
big of
fan
you.
of parking illegally.
There's Jeff.
But
He
I'm
almost
good
won't
at
come paint it down.
getting out of
What's
the
he
tickets.
singing about?
He's waiting at that.
Public parking to the left.
She doesn't
No,
walk
that's
that
too far away.
No,
We're gonna
too far away,
going
okay.
to,
Do you know what Nora died from?
I have the
Right.
slightest idea. I don't think I was ever told.
I was telling her about the dead baby and the new baby.
Yeah, about the same time.
Now, try to park right in front.
Probably like
No, you
this
can't do
fear
that.
of.
You're going to go down to where the traffic light is.
Can't we
Turn
pull?
left.
Can't we pull in here where all these other cars are? Here, right here.
How did they get in there?
Oh, we'll
Right here,
just,
go.
No, that's not
No,
where
that's
they
an
got.
exit.
So I want to go
Don't
left.
listen to Mary.
Why don't you pull
Whatever
in
you
the
do.
Days Inn?
that's a good idea.
All right, Days
Oh.
In. Yeah, turn left and it'll go to
I
Days
said
In.
turn left here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good idea.
Great idea, Nora. Perfect. Where there looks like there's a little parking lot behind this White House too.
Turn this off, yeah.
Either one.
So we're just gonna
Park.
park.
Where it says no parking anytime.
Okay.
Come with me.
I shall.
Now I'm getting
I wonder if I
instructions.
need my reading glasses.
Well, if you're gonna read it, then.
Everybody seems. It's a free for all.
All right. I'm gonna start telling you what to do.
You might as well. Look at that red light's flashing. Oh, I know why it's flashing. 'Cause I need a new tape.
Oh, you got more tapes.
Oops, 0 minutes.